right, welcome to EETF 63. My name is Patrick. I hope you guys are doing great. So tonight we got quite the full house, and this is convenient because tonight is TV Talk. So we have a ton of stuff to cover, so let's get right to it. First, I have back on the show, Nick Babak. How are you, sir?
I'm good. Thank you for inviting me back, Patrick.
Always a pleasure. We also have from Massachusetts with a brand new mic, Kyle Hildreth. How are you?
I'm doing, guys. Great. I'm doing great, guys. Thanks.
Whoa.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to see you guys later. First time on, I screw it up.
Off to a flying start.
What a waste of a new mic.
Mark the first edit.
Yeah, time to ditch the mic and and the podcasting career. Welcome back, Kyle. It's good to have you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me back.
Always a pleasure. We also have back on the show, Mike Drew. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you again for having me.
Welcome back. As with all of you guys, we also have from the I don't know, like the foreign land of Chicagoland or whatever. Woody Meacham, how are you?
I'm doing great, Patrick. How's everybody doing?
Good.
I'm doing all right. All right. And we also have Hector Contreras. How are you?
Hey, I'm good. Thank you.
You're quite welcome. So, all right. So for TV Talk tonight, let's go. Why don't we go with each of us would have 5 nominees, like recent good shows, or maybe horrible shows that are worth discussing, plus 1 stinker. But we have some flexibility on that, so let's see how this goes. So we can start with Nick. What do you have for us?
Well, thank you for letting me go first, Patrick. I actually have 5 TV shows. I'm stunned because I'm really not a TV person. I'm more of a movie person. But let's start off with Jury Duty. I watched that recently. It came out last year. I really enjoyed it. It was sort of like The Office meets, I guess, a courtroom setting. I don't even know how else to describe Jury Duty, but it's from, I think, one of the executive producers of that show. It's shot in like a mockumentary format. And the whole point of the show is that essentially that there's this mock trial, which they say at the very beginning, and then there's one guy that doesn't know that it's not real. And it's really, really funny because there's so many like weird things that happen, and there's a lot of colorful characters. And I just really enjoyed it. Have other people seen Jury Duty?
Oh, yeah.
I've heard of it. James Marsden, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
That show? Okay.
For a long time, it came up as one of those suggestions on my TV, but I never watched it.
Which network?
It is on, I believe, Freevee, which is like formerly IMB TV, but it's also on Amazon Prime, which is how I watched it. And it's really funny. It was nominated for Emmys, and it's a show that has continuously come up as a suggestion, like you said, Drew. And what I liked about it is that each episode's only like 20 to 25 minutes, so it's very bite-sized, and you could just kind of watch it and go. And James Marsden does play himself, and he tries to like pawn off like his movies that are kind of crappy. And he's like, "Oh, I'm not Ryan Gosling in like The Notebook. I'm the other guy." And they're like, "Oh, other guy," So really, really funny. I highly recommend Jury Duty, especially if like you just want to turn your brain off and watch a really funny sort of mockumentary sitcom. The next one is The Curse. I saw that recently. Mm-hmm. Nathan Fielder and Emma Stone. Oh my God, 2 people. I will watch anything that they do because they're amazing. Nathan For You and The Rehearsal are some of my favorite things ever. If people haven't seen it, check it out. They're on, I believe, Max. Nathan For You was on Comedy Central. That's a really funny show. But The Curse is this really bizarre comedy. Like I'm trying to think of a way to describe it. It's sort of like supernatural, like eerie. It's a show you just have to kind of watch and sort of be immersed in it. And I think what's really interesting is that it reminds me so much of Twin Peaks, the David Lynch show, where it's just so offbeat and so out there, yet I really enjoyed it a ton. Have people seen The Curse?
No, but what's the gist? Heard of it. What's the gist of it, though? What elevator pitch?
sorry, just before you continue, Nick, I have to say the last what we watched about TV shows, that goes back a few months, I think.
Oh, did I talk about it?
You might have, but don't let me stop you. It was just that we will not necessarily talk about shows that are going on right now. I just wanted to specify that some of the shows that we will talk about, some might be a few, years old even.
One of my shows is a Christmas show.
Phew.
Okay, there you go.
One of my shows is from 45 years ago. Is that all right?
I'm doing All in the Family. Is that all right?
Well, I was going to do the Jeffersons and
Brand
move
new.
on up. So The Curse really interests me because it takes place in New Mexico. I previously lived in New Mexico. And it basically is about Nathan Fielder and Emma Stone being this couple that are in a family, and her father is like the slumlord. And they're sort of trying to get their own HGTV reality series. So they're making the pilot and all this stuff. And they're interacting a lot with indigenous people. And the show sort of centers around them navigating through life and trying to get their show sold, while they also deal with like marital issues, and a lot of weird supernatural things happen. And at the beginning of the first show, he's kind of rude to this young girl, and she puts a curse on him. And then over the next 8 to 10 episodes, you wonder, is he really cursed? A lot of weird things happen. And I think it's a show you have to see to believe, especially the last episode. I don't know if I've seen anything quite jarring and so bizarre.
Is this the movie version or the TV version of Poor Things?
Not really.
Okay. I don't know. I've never seen Poor Things, so.
Yeah, and Emma Stone won an Oscar.
Oh, it's great. Ask Woody. It's great.
Yeah. Okay. No, go back and listen to the last
I did.
episode if you.
Oh, wait. Oh, I mean, yeah, I did.
Oh, wait. Huh.
Yeah, it's really great. I loved all of them on the show, and it's a show that's like an acquired taste. Like, either you're gonna love it and get it, or you're gonna be like, this is like boring and crap. But yeah, other people seen it though.
No, but boring crap has got me sold. Writing it down right now.
Absolutely. I also saw recently Murder in Boston, which is a miniseries that was on Max. And
Kyle, you're next.
I'd love to point out that the two people from Massachusetts were like, huh?
I didn't hear about this. It wasn't on our news.
it's about the murder of Carol Stewart. And it was basically about this case where this guy was murdered. And the reason why I piqued my interest was because it was the murder that happened occurred around the same time I was born, because this happened in October 1989.
Perfect alibi.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I was still in the womb, so it could not have been me. And basically, in a nutshell, Charles Stewart, who lived in Boston, he dialed 911, and he said that him and his pregnant wife were carjacked, and that, they said that it was a black man that did it. And then it created all this animosity and tension because they're trying to find out who was the guy that essentially killed his pregnant wife.
Insert Boston is racist joke here.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes, of course.
Sorry.
And then the whole miniseries kind of goes through, like, is it really this guy who, claimed to have been the murderer? And you find out what happens, but it's really, really riveting. And it was actually quite fascinating because it's weird. You don't really think of, Boston does have, of course, a racist history, but it's usually not spotlighted in a major documentary series like that. It's in movies, but not documentaries, maybe, or I don't know. What do you think, Hector and Kyle from Massachusetts?
I hate to go back here and retread this, but I was trying to remember a story where someone blamed a minority on something else, and it turned out to be a completely fabricated story.
That's like every other day. What are you talking about?
Well, yeah, I know, but another famous, but this one involved like an entertainer or a celebrity, and that's why it made.
Oh, OJ.
That's what it was.
I was waiting for somebody to go there, and I'm like, please don't.
Wah, wah.
Well, no, there was the reverse one in Chicago.
The reverse, the J.O.?
Well, no, but there was the reverse incident of the guy who said he got beat up by
Jesse
Smollett. Jesse
Yeah,
Smollett.
Juicy.
Yeah.
I remember that one.
I think I used the wrong soundbite. Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's
There
what
you
I
go.
wanted.
There you go.
Never gets old.
Sorry about that. Jesus. Okay.
Well, which channel was that on?
It's
Nick?
on Max. It came out last December, and I watched it recently, and it was really good. I highly recommend it. It doesn't paint Boston in a good light, but it's good. It's literally called Murder in Boston.
Ooh, okay.
What's it about? No, I'm kidding.
Sorry, I wasn't listening. What?
My fourth show is Quiet on Set, and that was a really heavy
Jesus.
show that I watched recently, and that's about the behind-the-scenes exploits of Nickelodeon in the 90s and into the 21st century. And the reason why I bring that up is because I grew up on Nickelodeon, and a lot of the shows were part of my childhood. This focused on a lot of the live-action shows, and it's really disturbing and quite paralyzing to hear a lot of these stories, especially one of the people who was a main character on one of the big shows in the 2000s was molested by one of the acting coaches, and Nickelodeon had a history of hiring like pedophiles and putting them in predicaments and situations with underage children. And it's absolutely horrible and horrifying to think now in terms of,
How it all happened. Yeah.
it's horrible that that happened to even one child, but the potential for that to happen to other children, it's really sad. And there's one episode, and I'm not going to give it away. I'm just going to say the episode number. Episode 3 is one of the most unnerving things I've seen in a long time, where we see this child actor go into detail for almost there's no cuts for like 20 minutes. And you feel the emotions, and you feel someone pouring their heart out and their soul to tell their story. And it's not an easy watch. It's not even an enjoyable watch, but I think it's a necessary watch, even if you don't like Nickelodeon.
Nick, what was that main actor's name?
It's Drake Bell.
Drake Bell.
He was on Drake and Josh.
Yeah, and he became like a musician, I think, or maybe even during the same time. And the only reason I bring that up is because if there's any jellyfish fans, if you belong to any like jellyfish Facebook groups or anything, every so often somebody will say, like, discover his music, and it's very jellyfishish. So it's very Beach Boys, poppy kind of stuff. And he gets brought up a lot in that. So when I saw this, that's how I knew the name, because I didn't grow up on Nickelodeon. And I don't even know, we didn't even have Nickelodeon in Canada. I mean, I think they would show the shows on the Kids Network or Children's Network, whatever it's called here.
Well, you guys couldn't do that on television. That's why.
Yeah, there's, you got a sound effect for that. And
I don't know.
Oh,
Maybe.
and anyway, yeah, so I knew him. So if, that's how I made the connection, because I saw the trailer for it and thought it looked really interesting, but like you said, depressing as all. But I knew that name from that as opposed to the shows.
Yeah. The other part of the show, too, is that it focuses on this the sexualization of children. And what I think a lot of people forget about Nickelodeon, what made it so groundbreaking, was that it often was not about education in children's programming. And that's sort of like what a lot of the cartoon had to do. And a lot of the things that they said and didn't have those components. And there's a lot of things that are questionable, but a lot of it, like my biggest criticism of the show was that I think that when you're hearing these cast members who did not experience necessarily some of the things that, say, Drake Bell experienced, it seems too retrospective to sort of say, like, look at it now, like 25, 30 years later. And you're thinking, okay, I don't think you thought that at like 10. You know what I mean? Like a lot of the things, like, and I don't know if people feel that way. And that's sometimes my problem with documentaries, even though I love documentaries, is that, sometimes when they're looking at a subject and they're talking about it, it often feels a little like, well, yeah, now you think that, but I'm sure you didn't think that when you were like 9 years old. I don't know if people feel that way.
Hindsight is always 2020.
Yeah.
After they had the first few episodes, didn't they do another one that they were said was like a special one afterwards, or did they all come out at the same?
a very special one.
Yeah, they did like a sort of like a 2020 special where they re-interviewed some of the people. There was 2 cast members from one of the shows that were not interviewed.
But it wasn't like Amanda Bynes, because that's what I'd heard the rumor was going to be. She was going to show up on the last one because she was a central part of this whole thing.
She was, but she didn't appear.
Okay.
They talked a lot about Ariana Grande in terms of like her being on, was it Sam and Cat? I think that was the show.
Victorious. Yeah.
Yeah, she didn't get interviewed, unfortunately. Like I said, it's not an easy watch, but it's one that I think it's a necessary watch, I think, just to feel the pain for these victims, even though I think that at times it could be a little exploitative and kind of, I don't know, some of the things feel out of context with what they're trying to prove. I know like Mark Summers, who was going to be on the show distance himself from it because they were trying to ask him questions that he wasn't even when he was on Nickelodeon, because he was on like the early 90s and this focus was really on the mid to late 90s and really the 21st century. But a good show. That's on Max as well. And the last show I want to talk about, which is like a good one to go out on because it just ended, was Curb Your Enthusiasm. I love that show. It's one of my favorite shows ever. I will say, I think they should have ended when they had the season with Seinfeld, and that was probably like 15 years ago. Because I don't think you get much better than that, like to be the ending, like where they're trying to essentially redo Seinfeld. It's a show like I'll always watch if there were new episodes, but I feel like the spark was kind of gone in the last like several seasons because they've had like, I think every 2 or 3 years. So it wasn't like a regular thing when seasons would air, but it's still kind of funny. But I mean, like, you know, it's just a fun show to put on, and Larry David is a national treasure, in my opinion. Do people love Curb Your Enthusiasm as well?
I haven't seen it.
No.
I'm with Kyle. I've never seen it.
I've never seen it either.
I've seen it a few times, and I just, again, goes to my, I don't like watching shows about terrible people. And he's just a terrible dude. I mean, I know he plays it off. It's the comedy of it, but I understand why people appreciate it.
I don't even know if it's like, because I don't know if he's playing a terrible character, but I'm sure he is, but it's kind of like the same thing as watching Meet the Parents, where it's just like, you're supposed to be the just regular Joe Schmo and everyone around you is
Crazy.
acting like an asshole. and I just feel like it's just so written. Like it never feels natural. It always feels like it's so forced.
Trying to be that regular Greg Fokker, and everybody else is just screwing it all for you.
Time. And then you have little Fockers, and
Yeah.
they're getting messed up. No thanks.
But Nick, to your point, though, I give him all the credit in the world. He wrote something like 280, 290 episodes of comedy over the past, 35 years. The dude is a machine, so...
Yeah, it does.
Was Seinfeld in the last episode?
Yes, he was on
Okay,
the very final
Spoiler!
No.
episode. You kind of figure Jerry is going to make an
You would hope
appearance.
so.
He kind of does every season somehow, or some of the Seinfeld people. I love that show. It's sad to see it go, but it's also like it's been on for 25 years, even though there's been 12 seasons. So all good things must come to an end.
And is there a stinker on your list?
Oh, yes. I actually had to really think about this for a second, and then I just remembered one that I just hated, and it was the miniseries The Patient. I don't know if people have seen that with Steve Carell.
Oh, I've heard of it. I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Is this the one he locks somebody up?
Yes.
Or they lock him up?
Domhnall Gleeson.
Gleason.
He is this patient that locks Steve Carell in like his basement, and it's on Hulu, by the way, for listeners. And I'm trying to remember in a nutshell. Oh, he is a serial killer who locks up his therapist and then basically is trying to like curb himself of his homicidal like ways. And Steve Carell's trying to like help him not kill, although he wants to live too. So
Razor's Edge.
oh god, that show, my god.
It wasn't good.
Okay, it wasn't that it was bad. It's just there's so many things that were so implausible, and then the fact is like that it just there was 10 episodes, and this is always my critique with miniseries is that they don't know the sweet spot to kind of have just the right number of episodes. And I feel like FX, who I think broadcast this originally, they have a notorious reputation, in my opinion, of having like 2 or 3 episodes too many, and then a lot of it feels like filler. This show, it just felt like filler. Like there's one, the serial killer is a Kenny Chesney super fan, so he's part of the No Shoes Nation, which is a real thing. So it's kind of like the Jimmy Buffett, like the Parrot Heads I'm sorry, Parrot Heads with like Kenny Chesney, who basically is ripping off, I guess, Jimmy Buffett to an extent with the Parrot Heads, but it's just crazy. So never trust someone from the No Shoe Nation, and skip that stinker of a show, even though I love Steve Carell.
I was going to say, Steve Carell, you got that group, then you got the No Shoe Nation, and then you got the Domhnall Gleeson. Which groups are you trying to force together for this show?
I mean,
That's an odd combination.
yeah. And then part of it too is like, there's like a religious aspect with like a synagogue.
Literally.
It's like, it's all over the place, and it's just not that interesting and not that good. I don't know. Has anyone else seen it, or am I the only one to watch the stinker?
I think I'm going to start it just so I can bail on it.
You're going to show them, aren't you?
Exactly.
This guy just started 1 minute.
Well, that's what she said, or that's what he said.
Oh, shit. All right. Okay, so yeah, that's enough about The Patient, I guess. Thanks, Nick. Kyle, what do you have for us?
I have no Dennis Blunden news, which after that freaking...
They're not going to get the reference, dude.
I know, but you do.
Did you guys get head of the class in Canada?
Yeah, with Billy Connolly and Howard
Hesseman, yeah. So that's the whole thing is the miniseries that Nick was talking about.
Yes.
It's two of the guys that were in the class.
Oh.
Two?
One becomes the president of Nickelodeon. The other one is this molester guy.
Who was the one that became the president?
Eric.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
He hired Dan.
Wow.
I'd have to look. I don't know which members they were.
Yeah, the suave guy and the big heavyset guy.
It's been a long time. I don't remember it.
Do you know Better Off Dead, the movie? And do you remember Ricky? His mom blew up.
Vaguely. I'd have to see it.
It's Ricky.
Okay.
It's always Ricky. But unfortunately, we're not talking about that. All right. Right now we are watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine. It's great.
You struck a chord with Nick.
I love that show so much, Kyle. Tell me more.
We've seen it on our, whatchamacallit, This Is Picked Just For You on Netflix for so long. And we ran through all other choices and we started just checking this out. And it was great. Still is. I'm only third season in, I think, now.
Oh.
And everybody's great. Everybody in it. Even people you don't know. Amy and Rosa
It's been going
Diaz.
for a while, right?
Oh, yeah, it's over.
It ended a few years ago.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus. Okay, Mr. Current Affairs over here. Fucking hell.
Andre Braugher just died.
Andre Brower, right,
Yeah.
just died.
Well, yeah, that's true. Gee, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, and he's great in this, too. Everybody's a killer in that movie. No, TV show. What the hell show am I on?
Okay, Grandma, you watch your stories?
So Brooklyn Nine-Nine, A+. That's a good one.
Yeah, my son and I watched that together. That was one of those shows we bonded over.
Exactly.
The humor is just so on point.
It's a good family movie, kind of. Or TV show.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
For older kids?
Not a movie.
Yeah.
TV show.
I'm going to keep saying that, though. For my next movie,
Who is your favorite character, Kyle? I have to know.
I like Diaz. Who can't not like... Well, I love Jake Peralta, of course. Freaking Boyle's awesome.
Boyle is great. I mean, they're all great.
He might be really good, the best one. And then I've seen episodes coming up. Adrian, what's his last name? It's Jason Mantzoukas, who's awesome in everything.
Yeah.
Wait for the storylines with him. It's great.
Oh, of course it is, because it's freaking Jason Mantzoukas. He's great. Yeah, no, everybody in that show is killer. Every episode's killer. Every time, just sit there and laugh the whole time. Next one is one that Mike Drew recommended to me, and that's Reacher on Prime.
Yes.
I know you guys probably talked about this over and over throughout the years of different people watching it at different times, and it's great. It is.
Have you watched both seasons?
Yeah, and it's after just watching the movie with Tom Cruise, it's so much different. It's just speaking of movies.
Which season did you like most? Because I wanted to talk about it a little bit, but no, please go. Which one did you prefer?
I really liked a lot of, and I liked both, of course, because they're both well made. There's parts I don't like in each one that are just little weird things.
Okay,
but I think I liked season 2 better. It felt more.
Oh my God, you're so wrong. I'm sorry.
But that's the thing. I mean, it's like a whole separate thing. Season 1 had its own story, and even though it kind of connected to season 2, it was great, except for that last episode. And then season 2 had its own story. That was great. And it's hard to tell, but yeah, it's something different. It's neat. It's fun. It's James Bondy kind of. It's cool. I like that. Thank you, Mike.
If we might as well,
Please
talk about it a little more. I think I preferred season 1.
Okay.
I did too.
Because the thing is, there's been 16 books, I think, 16 or 17 books. And the book that inspired season 2 of the TV show was book number 10 or 11. So Reacher had already been going solo for 8 or 9 books beforehand. So when the band got back together, it meant something in the books. But in the TV show, it was like,
Forced right on you.
exactly, who was those assholes, out of nowhere. You only hear about them a little bit, maybe. I don't even remember.
Yeah.
And yeah, it didn't feel earned. You know what I mean?
I understand that. It's weird they go out of order for the book.
Yes. Yeah. They should have gone. They should.
The first movie is not the first book.
That's true. But they should have gone like at least 2 seasons of, Alan Richardson solo, and then you get the group back together.
Yeah.
And it might be only me, but I thought the characters were really weak and the writing was really weak for those other characters.
Yeah.
Like Neely for season 1 was great because there wasn't too much of her.
Yeah.
And in season 2, it was like the actress was fine, but it was like there was too much of her.
Yeah, there was. You're right.
And the other guy, what was his name? O'Connell? The guy with the knife?
The blonde guy.
Yeah, the blonde guy. He was such a fucking swing and a miss. Didn't care about him one bit. And also, they get help from a local cop, Russo. He was heard from The Wire. Mm-hmm. And you could tell that he was acting... Wow, that's the emotion talking. you could tell that he was acting circles around each of them. He was dominating each scene. It was like blatant. It was, it jumped at you.
It's uneven. Yeah. Very uneven.
So she was, I don't remember the actress's name, but she was in a show here called Corner, and she played, guess what, a corner. And yeah, she's fine at what she does, but I almost felt like with the season 2, like the love interest was almost too forced.
Yes.
Whereas season 1, the whole thing that happened with the cop there kind of just naturally progressed, right?
The writing I felt was so much better in season 1.
Yeah.
And also, what was their catchphrase? You don't mess with the special investigators.
Yeah, that was. Yeah.
You could workshop that catchphrase a little bit, can't you? That was really weak.
So I will add that the second season, some of it. Now I thought, because they spent a couple of days apparently shooting in my hometown, so I was waiting for it, and I told Kyle the only shot of Oshawa in the entire season that I could recognize was the very last scene of the very last episode where he's getting on the bus. So there's the bus station. That is the Oshawa bus station. But I don't know how they did it. But every time the camera turned to look at him, there was like a bridge, almost like it was supposed to be Manhattan or something. I don't know how they did that, because ours is just like this dumpy little bus station downtown. And actually the bus station itself is okay, but around it's not that great.
That's where they shot it, yeah.
But it's certainly not that bridge. Yeah, so I don't know how they did that, but it was so well done.
OshawaAI.com.
They CGI'd out the crackheads and the...
They did. And the wandering Oshawa Generals fans trying to find the rink. Yeah. But no, listen, that was really good. I thought season 2 was fine. I like season 1 a lot better.
Yeah.
I think. Now, in hindsight, because I think when Kyle and I originally talked about it, I think I was like, well, I like them both. But now, after he and I spoke about it a while ago, I think I liked 1 quite a bit more.
The story's better in 1, definitely.
Yep.
Just because it's so contained in mostly everything. The action is so uneven, and that blows my mind and makes me just get mad the whole time.
Oh, yeah, and in season 2, Richardson is on so much gear that he could barely move.
Yeah, but he'll still punch super fast, and he gets beaten by the easiest guy, and then the toughest guy. He'll take on 5 guys, but then 1 guy will kick his ass. 1 small guy. It's like, come on.
Don't they have tasers in that universe? You have 7 guys around the guy. Tase the fuck out of him. He's gonna go down.
Sure.
I've never fought one man before. I'm used to fighting crowds.
That's the thing. And just certain instances where he gets into trouble.
Nothing, Hector? I don't get anything from you on that one?
No, I'm still thinking about the Tom Cruise. I'm sorry. Are we still talking about the movie?
I actually like the first movie.
The movies are fine if you don't know anything about him or the series or the books or.
Yeah.
I didn't see the second movie, but I heard.
No, the second one sucked. Yeah, but the first one was legit good, I thought.
Patrick hates Pittsburgh, so yeah, I understand. Yeah, so that was it's nice and refreshing in parts. I mean, they brought out Clark bars. Come on, who doesn't like that? Oh wait, nobody. That's right. So yeah,
I didn't know what that was.
It's a candy bar that mostly
Nobody-
is known in Massachusetts.
Yeah, even most of us don't even know what
Yeah,
that tastes like.
because nobody eats them because they're old-fashioned.
Isn't it kind of like a Butterfinger?
Yeah, it's good.
Do you guys have Butterfingers in Canada?
We do. We also have one called what's that called?
Fifth Avenue.
Oh, Henry,
No. It's a Nestle. It's a
Baby Ruth.
Nestle one that used to be a Nielsen one. Patrick, don't leave me hanging here.
Uh-oh.
It was like peanut brittle covered in chocolate.
Zagnut?
No,
What'd you call
I'll
them?
find it.
Peanut brittle.
Yeah,
Payday?
it's basically like a Butterfinger, but way better because Butterfingers are gross and they stick in your teeth.
They do.
Especially now.
Wonder Bar?
They changed the recipe and it's not.
No, Wonder Bar. Kyle's fond of Wonder Bar. We're getting off topic, but yeah.
Yeah. Wonder Bar. That's my next one.
Top
Actually,
5 candies, everybody. Top 5
I'll
candies.
find it. I'll find it.
And a stinker.
We have Coffee Crisps,
Mounds.
and you guys don't, so we win.
Mm,
Coffee Crisps
you can keep
are
those up there.
out of this world.
Crispy Crunch? Was that it?
It could be, yeah.
I'm going to Google
Nestle's
it right
Crunch?
now. Hold on.
Yeah, we have Nestle Crunch.
No.
But it-
Everyone, fast forward.
Crackle?
Wait for Mike to get
Is it Crackle? Because Crackle is
Crackle.
way free.
It is Nielsen Crispy Crunch, which turned into
Oh,
a
that'd be-
Cadbury Crispy Crunch.
Okay.
So Google that and you'll
Damn bunny.
yeah, and they're way better.
Interesting.
Oh,
Right.
Jesus. I'm going to have to edit this. This is going to be...
I think keep it
Just
in.
the
It's great.
special stuff you put up on X. You know.
I'll probably leave it in, honestly. But, okay, no, yeah. All right, so yeah, Reacher. Okay, so Kyle, what do you have next?
I have Wonder Bar. It is so goddamn
Wunder.
good. Okay. Next one I have is X-Men 97, the cartoon.
Man.
Oh, okay.
Was that yours, Woody?
Oh,
It's on my list, too.
circle gets a square. Look at that.
Mm-hmm.
It's great. I mean, the original X-Men cartoon back in mid-90s
93.
was great enough as it was. If you liked X-Men or that kind of stuff, it was awesome. But it also told the best stories of any movie/TV X-Men that you've ever seen or have seen since, especially the latest crap. But they stuck to the comic books for the most part and explained them well, except for Morph. But and we got issues with him still. But
Well, he was created for the show.
I know, but he wasn't, because he was supposed to be the Changeling, which was.
Right. But
But then he brought it back. But at that point, they didn't say that. They just said, "Hey, here's Morph." And everybody's like, "What? Who's Morph?" Oh, we made him up.
You mean Worf from Star Trek? No.
That would have been better. He could have been. It's Morph with an M. He's a shapeshifter. But that's not the thing. I'm not going to show that's great. So they brought it back. Everything looks good. Everything, the writing's great. The animation's great. The stories are pretty good. They're doing a little of that crap where they're combining stuff, making stuff confusing a little bit. But I understand, because you can only have so much time. You have to ram it all together. The one thing about Morph is they made him non-binary, which is fine. That doesn't matter. It's a cartoon. But they gave him an accent that is kind of the stereotypical gay accent.
Oh,
And he didn't have that before.
okay.
So why would you give it to him now? Just call him non-binary, and and they brought back almost everybody else for the original characters, and they sound, for the most part, pretty good.
the same voice actors.
Yeah.
So the voice actors from the 90s do the voice acting now.
Yeah, and it's amazing. But this one character, they gave him a weirdly stereotypical gay accent. And it doesn't happen a lot. It's just one tiny little thing. But other than that, good. And it just ended on their mid-season, what was it, Woody? Mid-season.
Yeah, episode 5. It's called Remember It, which is what I wanted to bring up. Go
You
ahead,
can.
but
I'll let you.
dude, that is one of the best episodes of TV I've ever seen.
It's good.
Jesus.
Episode 5 of this show, I welled up. It was so awesome.
Yeah.
I
It
mean,
really
just
is.
the emotions that thing pulled out. If you know the character, because I didn't grow up, but I was in my mid-20s when the show was out. So it was on Saturday mornings when before I had kids, I would watch it when they had cartoons in the morning. And the way that episode 5 was bananas good.
Yeah, it was.
If, for example, I didn't watch the show during its first run, so is there anything for me there, or?
If you know X-Men,
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the big thing. You got to like X-Men.
Well, I mean, I never read the comics, but I know the movies.
It's not going to hit you as hard.
Okay.
yeah, it won't hit you as hard. Yeah, because it basically starts out with the last episode was Professor Xavier dies. And
Okay.
it picks up like a week later.
Okay.
which is crazy 20 years later,
Right.
25 years later, that they actually pulled that off and then keep it going and do it almost better than the original with the way they're telling stories and showing characters and making them evolve.
Because the artwork is identical, I think.
Pretty
right?
much.
It's stylistically the same, but it was low res back in the 90s.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So it was 4:3 aspect ratio.
Yeah.
Like if you go to watch, it's on Disney Plus. If we didn't say that, but it's on Disney Plus. And if you try to watch the original, like I tried to go back and watch the original, it's not good.
Okay.
Like I was like, yee. But the new one is so smooth.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's hard to watch just for visuals, but they told stories. They got tons of characters in. They made the characters like the comics, what you want. Or a book. If you see a movie or a TV show, it's like the book, of course it's going to make you happy. And this is what it did for the X-Men. So
actually, Kyle, I got good news for you. So
Please.
everybody, we're recording this on the 16th of April in 2024.
oh my God.
There are new episodes coming out next week and the week after and the week after.
Thank God.
So I thought it was the halfway point too, and they were going to cut it, but it looks like there's 5 more.
I think they got a whole nother season coming too. They already greenlit it.
Yeah, there's 10 episodes total, so it'll go through May. So I'm excited because I want to see.
Now I have to hurry to edit. Great. That's okay.
Way to go.
We didn't spoil anything.
No,
That's true.
We told it where it picked up.
That's true.
but I think all of this is going to be part of the Marvel canon. So this is all playing into the new movies that are coming out, the new X-Men movies that are going to be coming out, all the multiverse stuff. This all stuff plays in with that now too. That's what they're saying. Them.
Them.
But yeah, X-Men 97, A+. Something totally different on Netflix. My daughters and wife started watching The Extraordinary Woo. It's a South Korean TV show about a lawyer or a legal assistant who has, wanted to say autism.
Yeah, she's on the spectrum.
Okay, thank you.
The way we're.
Yeah. So they started watching that. I didn't really like it or get into it too much. But another show that seems in the same universe, but not, the Japanese show called Teasing Master Tagaki-san. It's good. It's a kid's show. It's kind of like that Japanese show that had the kids walk into the store by themselves
Oh,
for a while,
yeah.
which was weird. Patrick. Yes. They had a show. It's almost like a game show or America's Funniest Home Video show where parents would set their kid up, like a 3-year-old.
I heard about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Put a flag on their back,
Yes.
put a note on their front, send them to the store to pick up like 3 things, and send them home. It sounds insane, but
Is that like when my dad used to send me to the store for cigarettes with a note that said,
Yes.
honestly, they're not for him?
that's exactly what it is.
Kyle, the show is called Old Enough. That's
Yes.
the one where they put the flag on the kid.
Oh my God, that's crazy as it is. This is not that. This is totally different than either one of those shows.
Am I a reality TV star in South Korea? And I
you
didn't know
are.
about it?
I saw you in this one too.
What?
Which is
I
weird.
All right, guys, it's time to come clean. Drew.
This is
Hope you're
about
fitting.
2 not even teenagers. They might be preteens, 2 kids, a boy and a girl, who tease each other, and they're in middle school. And these are short episodes. It's a feel good thing. It's not for everybody. It's more my daughter than me even, but I'm watching it, so you get to hear about it right now.
Give the name again. I didn't catch it.
Teasing Master Tagaki-san.
Okay.
It's cute. If you want to watch something, it's young love, really. That's what it's all about.
Which platform?
Netflix.
Okay.
And at some point, when we started watching the other show, we started getting the recommendations of tons of other South Korean, Japanese, Chinese shows. I watched something in India at one point, and now I get tons of Indian programs that I'm never going to even click near. But this is one that we clicked on, and it was a winner. So it was pretty good.
Nice.
Comes out every Monday. Final show, speaking of from before, The Dukes of Hazzard from 45 years ago.
There it is. All right. Boss Hog.
Yeah.
How's he looking?
Well, that's the best part. I've gone back. I got the CDs. The CDs. I don't know what the hell. I'm talking about.
TV, movies.
You're
Good
not
Lord.
joking. You actually watched. Okay.
Yeah, I got the DVDs. That's what they are. I'm going to watch it all over again. I haven't watched it yet, just on TV. Back in the 90s, I would tape it when it was on TV because I didn't have DVDs of this. So I had like tons of VHS tapes of just CMT presents Dukes of Hazzard. But I finally got the DVDs, and now I've started on season 1. And it's great because it's the Dukes of Hazzard. Boss Hogg, just in case you thought this was just a goober show, that man, he knew 12 different languages fluently. Patrick, this is for you. Yeah. Sorel Book.
Yep.
He knew 12 languages and he dabbled in 6 others. And they're crazy languages like Chinese, Russian, which I'm like,
Are you taking the piss right now?
no.
Yeah, how many you know, Patrick? You only know this one.
No, but I'm like, are you talking about the actor or the character?
Yes, the actor.
The actor. The character was Roscoe.
Barely knew English.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, the character was like, what? How did I miss that? You know? Okay, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, brought up on vaudeville. He was an actor, did stage and stuff like that. He went to college and passed that and learned all this stuff. And then this is near the end of his life, pretty much, because he died in 94. But he knew all these, it was insane just to learn all this crap. All these, and I knew Norwegian. I knew Brazilian. It's like all these crazy languages that had nothing to do with each other.
Portuguese. Brazilian is not a language, but okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
That's all right.
I forgot about that one. But yeah.
It's a wax, not a...
So yeah, Dukes of Hazzard. That's my 5th. Oh yeah, A+, by the way. It's being shown on my DVD player right now. And then for a stinker. Jesus, this one. I thought it looked good. I've heard it looked good. I've heard it was good. And I watched some of it, and it's just not for me. Louder Milk.
Oh, I want to watch that.
Banner for that, but I haven't. Yeah.
It's for some people. It's just not for me. It's very... Some parts are all right. Some parts are funny. Will Sasso's in it. Ron Livingston, who I love, is in it. But I hate him in this. He's kind of a dick. He's kind of a hipster. He's kind of a hipster dick.
Which one is worse?
In this one, both. It's just... and it's about recovery. It's about he runs a recovery group. Brian Regan is in it, which is hilarious. And he's funny in it, too. They actually call out one of his jokes on one episode, the Winston joke. But it's just too proud of itself for me. It just tries too hard. I understand what it is, but I'm good. So no one Louder Milk. Netflix.
It's a Peter Farrelly show.
Yeah. And I guess.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. It's kind of odd. Odd stinker. So yeah, that's all.
All right. Thank you, Kyle.
Thank you.
Mike, what do you have?
I'm going to start with my stinker because this was awful and I wanted to like it. But listen, do you know how many annual homicides there are in only Sydney, Australia of American sea personnel? 8 at a minimum, because there was 8 episodes of the atrocity that is known as NCIS Sydney. I don't know about all the other ports in Australia, but apparently American naval people drop like flies in Sydney. Take it as a warning, people. Do not go if you are part of the Navy because you are doomed. It's just that simple. You are doomed to be in a terrible show, and it's just awful. I wanted to I love Sydney's a wonderful town. It's scenic and it's got so many great things to do. This is atrocious. I've never watched NCIS or any of those. I know there's New Orleans and whatever else. I've never seen one in my life, but I was curious with this one, right? And we were looking for something to watch. It was perfect timing. There's 8 episodes. There is one saving grace. There is an actor, an Australian actor, and his name is, I'm scrolling to it right now because I don't remember off the top of my head. His name is, I'm going to forget it. I don't remember. Yeah, anyway, he's the guy who plays the pathologist. He's fantastic. The rest of it is atrocious. Stay away.
So actually it might be good for a NCIS show, but you just don't know it because you haven't watched the others.
Well, put it this way. If the others are worse, wow. Brutal. I don't know what else to say. Okay. So
so if I may, I am intrigued. You had my interest, now you have my attention.
His name is William McInnes. Sorry, that's the actor's name.
Okay, so but briefly, what makes it so bad? The visuals must be good, at least, I hope.
Yeah, the visuals are good. I mean, Sydney's cool, and it's not just based in Sydney because, they find people in swamps outside of Sydney and whatever. Just the stories are just, they're so everything comes from someone's imagination, right? And you know, there is talk that there are almost TV and movie writers who sometimes act as like references for like governments around the world, because they're like, hey, you know, we're worried about a terrorist attack or whatever. Can you give us some scenarios that could happen? Because they go to these people like who can make stuff up like this, right?
Mhm.
Just to kind of prove that anything's possible. But this show is just so ludicrous. Like, it's, how can so many American Navy personnel die in one place in the matter of 8 weeks? I know it's a show and I'm being goofy, but it's not good. It's just not good. And all the episodes are just like, and the acting's not brilliant. And I don't know. I didn't care for it.
Tainted booze. That's
Yeah.
how you kill 8 Americans in 8
Maybe.
weeks.
Maybe that's that's season 2 right there. That's the first episode, I'm sure. Who knows? All right. So I'm going to get better. These ones are not bad. And I'm not saying like I'm kind of going up the scale to the best one, but I'm just saying that
You can.
no. They're just
Okay.
different. Okay. So in another kind of family of shows, there's a new show called Law and Order Toronto CI, or Criminal Intent. All right. I know I just said Oshawa's my hometown. For the sake of when I meet somebody abroad, I tell them I'm from Toronto, because if you say Oshawa, they look at you like, what? Ottawa? And I go, no. So Toronto, it's not bad. Okay. It's okay. If you're a Law and Order fan, you'll like it. Patrick, being Canadian, a lot of the stories are based on news, like Canadian news, some of it Toronto based, but not all.
Okay.
The latest episode as of this recording was about like the bread pricing scandal, which is a real thing, folks, outside of Canada.
What is it?
I don't know about it. Sorry.
Please tell.
I don't know if you know that, like the Loblaws chain,
Yes.
they have all that. So there was a big bread pricing scandal and there's a homicide involved. And obviously they,
I want to watch that show.
yeah. So
Death by bread?
death by bread.
Bread is serious business around
Listen,
here.
to somebody who's gluten intolerant, you never know. This could be a horror show.
Is there a crusty old detective who discovers what's going on?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
To paraphrase Kyle before, it's wonderful. No, I'm
Here it
kidding.
is.
Oh, we don't.
Nice.
Well, I guess we do get Wonder Bread, but anyway,
It's bimbo.
There you go. We don't get that. If you like the normal CI, I said his name wrong in the last episode. What's his name?
Vincent D'Onofrio.
That's the one.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's very similar because it's like a 2-team, of detectives. He's kind of the quirky, eccentric one in the Toronto show I'm talking about. But it's not bad. Acting's good. There was one episode I didn't care for, but the rest of it so far has been all right. Okay, so another show. Now, this one I've only watched one episode because...
Hold on one second. Sorry. Is D'Onofrio in every episode?
No. I'm just saying that the character is comparable to like the male detective.
D'Onofrio-esque.
And
Yes.
Mike, when you mentioned things specific to Canadian news, is one of the perps a Maple Leafs fan who went on a killing spree because they missed the playoffs?
No,
or
but there's been jokes. There's like, you're not a Leafs fan, are you? Kind of thing. So yeah. Yeah, that's
I watch. My wife is a big fan, so we actually downloaded the episodes back in 2009, I think it was, of the UK series. So when Law and Order UK came out, we were so excited because she finally have something new to watch, because she had watched every single episode of Law and Order to that point.
So I liked the UK one, and one of the detectives was a guy named Bradley Walsh. He was like the older detective in that show,
Yeah.
and I thought he's normally like a kind of a comedian, and I thought he was brilliant in it.
My only complaint was that they recycled the stories.
They did a couple of them. I'm like, I've seen this before. So it was kind of like the first season of The Office, right? When the British one went to the American one, and like
Exactly.
there was so much similarity. Okay, so the next one I only watched the first episode because it's a slog, but it's actually very well done. But it's called Breathtaking. It's an ITV drama, so it's a British drama, and it's basically set 4 years ago as we speak. It's the start of COVID. It's set in a hospital. It's about a nurse and how they're like the government is shortchanging on them on equipment. Nobody knows what's going on. One of the doctors gets super sick and everybody's like freaking out. The acting is amazing. I just found it, because it's so close in history.
Finally, somebody made this
Yeah. Oh my God.
story to tell.
But like,
For
there was
you.
no way my wife was going to watch that. And that was like, I'm like, I'll give it a try. And again, it's amazing. Like people might love it. I don't know. And I'm sure it is very good, but I was just like, I don't know if I can go on with this.
You're brave for giving it a shot because personally, I would stay away.
Well, the main actress is named Joanne Froggatt, and she's kind of a well-known British actress. And she's like this main nerd, and she's amazing. And it's actually, the acting's fantastic, but just Debbie Downer. Oh, good Lord. Like just, yeah. Okay, so I'm going to go with my two favorite, and then I have a bit of an honorable mention. This is a bit left field, but Kyle named a kid's show, and that's usually my shtick. So, stay in your lane, Kyle. But
I know what's coming.
So like Patrick said earlier, this is a collection from the last few months. At Christmas time, we watched Diary of a Wimpy Kid. There was a Christmas special, and it's called Cabin Fever. It's awesome. So the first one that came out, so Disney Plus made one, like a one-off. It just called Diary of a Wimpy Kid, I think, about 2 years ago. And it was fine. There was already Diary of a Wimpy Kid movies and stuff. And if you're not familiar with Diary of a Wimpy Kid, it's based on a graphic novel. There's a series, I think there's like 15 or 16 books, some of which are amazing. The first one is, I would say, a literary classic, to be fair. Like, it's brilliant. But this latest one that he made, which was called Christmas Cabin Fever, wait till next Christmas. And if you have kids or you're with kids or something, put this on. It is funny. It's heartwarming. It's just so well done. It's one of my favorite things I've watched in the last year. It really is. It's great.
This is a cartoon, right?
It is it's CGI or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Now, my favorite show that I watched, this is the pinnacle, was Trigger Point. It's another British kind of, I don't want to say drama, it's action. And this was the second season, just ended. The main character is a bomb disposal person in the police. Her name is, like, the character's Lana Washington, but it's played by Vicky McClure, who's a well-known British actress. She was in Line of Duty.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and Line of Duty, she's the main female actress in Line of Duty. And it's the same producers. And every episode is just, like, amazing. Every episode, like, it's, every season has an overarching story. But this is probably one of the greatest shows I've watched in the last decade. Like, I would put it's probably in my top 10 of the last decade. It's amazing. It's just a cliffhanger. There's action. Like, listen, there are bombs that do go off, buildings get blown up. And I think there was one time I went, oh, that looked terrible. But otherwise, that's secondary. Like, it's just so well written. The dialogue is believable. The characters, like, her team is amazing. I loved everything about it. I can't gush enough about it. She's amazing. She's like this awesome badass who just takes, runs the whole plot.
And it's actually from Jed Mercurio, who did Line of Duty and Bodyguard, right, which is on Netflix.
And that's brilliant too.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah. Both Line of Duty as well, excellent.
So here in Canada, the first season is on CBC Gem. You can watch it for free. Okay. I'm sure the second season will be there eventually. It usually sometimes takes a while for us to get it. And I don't know what it's on in the States, but it's just action. It's amazing. I loved it. So, and I do have one honorary mention.
Please.
Okay, so I have mentioned this before. There's a travel channel on YouTube that I really like called Downey Live. It's a guy named Mike Downey. So he created, there's an episode of him in Australia. Pay attention, NCIS members. This is how you make good television down there. So apparently there's a golf course that runs something like 2,000 miles. And so basically there's like 2 holes in this town, and then you got to drive like 200 miles. And then there's 2 holes are in this town. And you got
Jesus.
Hey, that's a long par 4.
It's amazing. So he makes us like, excuse me, I think it's less than 20 minutes of him playing. And he's not even a golfer, right? So I'm not, like, I'm a flogger as well. I'm not a great golfer. I like golf, but I'm not good at it. But it's so enjoyable just watching him drive and meet the people that are in these little towns that he would drive into. And like literally one of the holes is behind like a convenience store. And it's like a par 3, 150 yards. He's done it. And then he's got to drive and then he's got to find somewhere because he never knows how, like, if he'll make it to the next town in time, right? So he's like, I can't have anything pre-booked, so I got to wait till I get there. Well, sometimes you get there and the hotel has 6 rooms, and guess what? They're all booked. So you're sleeping in your car that night, right? It is so well done. It's fun. It's whimsical. Is that the right word? I don't know. But I have mentioned him before, and if you watched last time when I mentioned it and you like it, he's a charming kind of guy, and I like travel stuff. So yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Nice. All right. Thanks, Mike. Woody, what do you have for us?
All right. I'm going to jump in since we already talked X-Men 97. I brought my backup in, which is not quite probably what you guys think I would like, but it's a show called Girls 5 Eva.
About the girl band.
Heard of it, yeah.
Correct.
Mhm.
So it's a Tina Fey joint, but they just had season 3 come out recently. For some reason, I love that show. It's Sarah Bareilles, Busy Phillips, Paula Pell, and Renee Elise Goolsberry, who was in Hamilton, the original cast of Hamilton. And it's about a Spice Girls type group that tries to come back together. And the season 3 is about them. They buy out Radio City Music Hall. And it's about them coming from Houston to New York. And each episode is a different town and little stuff that they run into along the way. If you liked 30 Rock, you'll love this show. It's just sweet and fun and good.
Do they buy a soccer team at any time?
No.
Okay. Just checking.
I love that show, Woody. Is it still hold up on Netflix because it was on Peacock?
Yeah, it's now on Netflix. Yeah, so it's really good. It's super easy watch. It's like at up 8 half-hour episodes, so you can burn through it in like 2 days.
Oh yeah, it's fun.
All right, so I'll throw that one out. Next one I'm gonna go is 3 Body Problem on Netflix.
I heard about it.
Seen the ads.
I'm not all the way through it yet, but it's, as far as like hardcore good sci-fi goes, it's one of the more interesting ones that I've seen, and the acting is great in it. Anything that's got Isa Gonzalez is good on your eyes, so I like to watch that. But it also, Liam Cunningham, who is from Game of Thrones, plays like this really mysterious guy, but it's all about the precursor to aliens coming to Earth. And it all started back in China in the 60s, and I'll just kind of leave it at that. And then there's this AI video game component to it. There's mystery, there's like really cool sci-fi science in it, where they cut up a ship that is the raddest way I've ever seen anybody destroy a ship. And I'm just finding it super fascinating, and I've really been enjoying it.
Have you read the books?
I don't read. We've talked about this.
Yeah, that's true. You're right.
So I'm never disappointed in anything.
Once a year, you got to say it.
Right. So I'm going to get that just on my knuckles. I don't read.
You made Nick, the librarian, leave.
Right, exactly. Nick got up and left.
I can't deal with this shit.
But that one is really good. All right. Next one I'm going to throw out is Shogun. So the new Shogun series that's on FX. It's actually the finale is tonight.
Yes. Yes.
I grew up, so I was 11 when the original week-long, 2 hours a night, if you missed it, you were screwed.
Yes.
Richard Chamberlain, like, deal. That was the bomb. And there's like certain almost Mandela effect type things I've got in my head from that show that when I came to watch the new one, I'm like, wait a minute, where's oh, there it is. And then, but there's been a number of other ones that haven't been there, which is kind of an interesting thing about growing up, growing old about it. But the retelling of this thing is fantastic. It's 10 episodes. It's a lot of Asian actors. So Hiroyuki Sanada plays Toranaga, who's kind of the main character in it. And then Cosmo Jarvis is the guy who plays John Blackmore, a.k.a. Unjin.
Blackthorn.
Yeah, Blackthorn, sorry.
That's okay.
And then Anna Soe, I think is how you say her name, is Mariko. The acting is fantastic. It's beautiful. It is shot so well. There's an earthquake scene that is some of the best cinematography and special effects I've seen, kind of on par with Dune. I thought from a TV show, it was fantastic. I'm kind of going, it's got to only be 10 episodes. They can't take this and make like season 2.
No.
So it's going to be a true mini-series event.
What network is it on?
FX.
Watch on Hulu, though.
So it'd be Hulu down here. So again, really good show there. I liked. The next one is recent. It just came out, Fallout. So Amazon Prime, based upon the Fallout video game. I played Fallout 4. I didn't play the other ones. So at the first couple episodes, I'm like, what the hell's going on? This isn't the game I know. And then I did some research. I'm like, oh, this took place here. And once you understand the timeline, I really got into it. It's got Walton Goggins plays the Ghoul, a.k.a. Cooper Howard. He's great in it. And then Ella Purcell plays kind of the main character, Lucy McLean. And then they've got just the great little factions that if you know the video game Fallout, a lot of people are saying it's the best adaptation of a video game into a TV show. Have to agree. I can't think of another one that's kind of on par with that.
Yeah.
Crap Kubert show.
Well,
I mean, The Last of Us.
The Last of Us, yeah. I never played that game, so I didn't have a point of reference to have any sort of emotional contact to it.
Okay, yeah.
Halo, I played a little bit of Halo, and I thought the Halo show was not very good. So a lot of it is, do you know the reference material? So I don't know. I just thought Fallout was really good. It's only 8 episodes. They just came out this week and said that Amazon is getting a tax credit from California, a film tax credit, which pretty much indicates it'll get a season 2 at least.
Okay.
So, and at the end of it, I won't ruin it, but it foreshadows one of the other games in the series. And so it's really quite fun. I enjoyed it more than I thought.
So they're filming in California?
Correct.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I know that we talked about it with you a couple of days ago. You weren't sure about keeping on watching. You weren't too sure after a couple episodes. I'm done with 2 episodes. It's hard to explain, but I think I'm going to bail. I don't know if it's the pacing. I don't know. It's like, can you guys move along?
Yeah, I just finished the 3rd episode last night. I hear what you're saying. I think now I'm kind of invested in thinking, I'll just finish it since it's only 8 episodes. You know what it is? I think it's because usually with these kinds of shows, there's always someone that goes like over the top, like in going back to when we were watching Twisted Metal.
Yeah.
There was at least 1 or 2 characters that really harness this crazy energy. Sometimes you'll see like a crazy action movie like game or something. I always think of that actor that was Dexter, who just went completely nuts in that role.
Michael C. Hall.
Yeah. And it's just, there's not one of those characters in this. It makes it feel more like, how do you say, like
Grounded, like
a drama, more dramatic, more grounded. Yeah. But sometimes you feel like you kind of need it because of all the elements are there. The violence is so over the top at times. And the CGI with some of the effects that are going on, it just, not grounded. So you feel like you have at least one character to kind of make it a little more enticing, but
I don't know if it's the like editing or they want to, stretch 45 minutes of material into 60.
I think it could be funnier too. Like it doesn't necessarily have to be a full-on drama. Like The Last of Us is a full-on drama, but sometimes that's just mimicking an element from The Walking Dead, which is a full-on drama. So your brain already goes there, but this doesn't really have the same thing. This one feels like it could kind of have its drama and still have a lot more funny moments.
I thought there were enough funny moments throughout the thing. But Patrick, did you play the games at all?
I am familiar with them, but I actually played them. No, but I know what was going on. Like, the vehicles and like the mechanized, the armor.
Yeah, the power suits.
Yeah, power suits. I knew about them and like the retro futuristic look. I knew about it. And I've played games like that before, like, open world and, side quests and all that. I'm familiar with the idea, but those actual games, I've never played them. So maybe I'm missing out on, I'm sure I'm missing out on a couple things. But as a TV show, I don't know. It might just not be for me,
Yeah, that's true.
And that's okay.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
But for me, once I understood the touchstones that I needed for it, there was enough where I would look through it and go, oh, I know that. I became a lot of the Leonardo DiCaprio meme of going,
yes.
oh, that thing.
The TV,
Oh,
yes.
that thing. Okay, good. Oh, it's that thing. Cool. All right. Last one I've got is Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Oh,
So the live action one that was out.
the new one.
Again, I watched Korra, the animated series, before I watched Avatar,
Really?
which I don't know why.
Yeah.
But then I went back and watched Avatar. And my son grew up, as I've mentioned before, is the anime nerd. And he and I watched it together. And similar to when we watched One Piece together, where he was like, that's wrong. That's wrong. We're watching Avatar and the same thing. He's like, that's wrong. I'm like, bro, chill out and just watch the damn show. Well, they combined this stuff together. I'm like, who cares? But I've literally had like other dads I know, their kids refuse to watch the live action version because it's the originalist touchstone is so important to them that they don't want to taint it. Whereas I'm just like, it's cool nerd stuff I never had when I was a kid.
True.
I'm going to take it all in. I mean, the acting I thought was really good in it. I thought, the kid who plays Aang, it's kind of like, you guys got 2 more years before he grows a foot. So you got to get this stuff filmed and get it out if you're going to keep going with this show. But I thought the casting overall was really good. It's a lot of actors and actresses that we've all seen before, just in different places, like Daniel Day Kim from Lost plays Lord Ozai, stuff like that. So that I thought overall, I really, really enjoyed it. And it's already gotten renewed for 2 more seasons.
2 more?
Yeah.
Oof,
well, again, because they have to do it because the kid's going to grow. So they basically have got to film them all right away, or else he's
got it right now.
Yeah, they're going to have to do some shrinking of him.
What did you think of Sokka?
I liked him. At first I didn't, and then I actually went back and watched an animated one, and I'm like, good enough.
Good enough? Okay.
Yes, he falls in love way too fast.
Yeah.
But they have to cram it into 8 episodes, which was, 24 before?
Yeah, that seems like a problem for all these shows. They got to cram stuff in, and that seems like it hurts a lot of these shows.
Oh, I agree.
But the whole no humor thing, that's why I was asking, because I think, the first episode, and I watched with my daughter too, and we were both looking at Sokka, and he's not trying to be funny. He's not funny. None of that was in there.
Yeah, I can understand that, but tone-wise, it didn't bring me down at all.
Okay.
So
interesting.
All right, then my clunker is actually a Emmy winner from last year because of the rule I already said earlier. I hate watching shows about terrible people. Beef.
Oh.
Uh-huh.
I tried.
Thank you.
God, I tried. Because I'm like, wait a minute, this thing won like writing Emmys and stuff.
Yep.
I got about 6 episodes into that thing. And I'm like, this show is just mean and terrible. Why do I want to have that in my life?
I skipped it on purpose for that reason.
Woody, you're like one of the few people I know. Like, I got into disagreements with friends about that show because I'm like, I thought it was very overrated. And I think there's this like A24 notion where anything they do, they like come over. It's like, come on, it's not that good. I don't know.
Yeah.
It seems like the more they put out, the less of that shine is being cast on stuff.
That's true.
And you're right. Like, they're terrible people. Like, why should I care about these characters? Oh, Woody, you love it.
Oh,
Yes.
I redeemed myself? Wait a minute. What did I do before?
You redeemed yourself with the
I...
poor Thane's hatred. No, I'm kidding.
The poor thing's steak. But you still made it through 6 episodes, which is, you're more patient than I am.
Right, because I kept going, oh, it's going to get better. But per our episode from a little while back, I've kind of gotten to that point now where like, I can let it go. I'll just go in and stop, just unflag the continue watching and my list on Netflix and just let it go. Let it float out dead into the water.
It's simple as that sometimes.
Was Ali Wong funny?
No, she's mean.
That's weird.
Ali Wong is mean. Stephen Young is mean.
And did you find it funny at all, too? That was my other thing.
No.
They kept selling it as like a comedy, and I thought it was kind of like a sad drama in many ways.
Yeah, I was depressing. So
thanks, marketing.
Yay. All right. Those are my shows.
All right. Thank you, Woody. And by the way, I was going to mention Shogun because it's awesome. And although I got to say that before the premiere, I don't know, a couple of months ago, I guess, I read something about how they really focused on, historical accuracy and all that stuff. And then I learned that part of it was shot in British Columbia. And then I was like,
how do you fuck that up?
That's my new soundbite.
Ooh, I like that. I was wondering when that was going to be brought out. Nice job.
No, but still, it turned out to be, how can I say? I had no reason to worry because, as you said, Woody, it's awesome. It's amazing. And I read the book a million years ago. I remember the 1980 series with Richard Chamberlain. I was 8 and I still remember it. And it was, awesome. And I'm looking forward to the last episode.
Woody, I thought you were going to talk about Warrior.
Oh, yeah?
After you asked about that the other night.
Well, no, you limited my number of my shows. That was going to be my next one.
Honorable mention, if you want.
Honorable mention one. All right, so I started watching a show. It's a former Cinemax show that is now on...
Netflix?
Yes, Netflix. A show called Warrior. It was originally... it's based upon stories written by Bruce Lee. So he originally tried to make the show back in the late 1960s. It's about a Chinese guy who comes over to San Francisco, which you come to find out he's trying to come and save his sister. And then it just becomes it's kind of like a Gangs of New York type of feel where you have all of the different tongs, the Chinese gangs fighting for power. And then you have an underlying story of the government and trying to do the cable cars, and another sub-story about the Irish police officers. And if anybody, Drew, did you ever watch the show Copper? Sorry.
No, you asked about our What's That Chow. I hadn't heard of it.
So Copper, it's a pretty decent show from about 10 years ago. One of the guys who is the main character in that is one of the subordinate cops in this show. To the point I kept going, why does that dude look so familiar? I'm like, oh, he only plays Irish English cops.
Was that the guy that had the wicked hard Irish accent?
No, it's actually the Southern guy, Lee.
Yes, that's the one.
Yeah, so he's the guy.
Okay.
But I don't know any of the actors in this show. There's 3 seasons of it, 10 eps per season. It's just been my binge show at like 10 o'clock at night. I throw an episode or 2 on, and it's just really fun. So there's my honorable mention.
Nice. Thank you, Woody. And by the way, guys, you recognize the soundbite, right?
No.
It's from A History of Violence. It's William Hurt.
Oh, okay.
The Cronenberg movie?
Yes.
That's at the end of the, yeah.
Can we have a TV soundbite next time, please?
Yeah.
I don't talk about
I love
movies.
that movie. That's a great movie. Good pick.
So, no, good point, Kyle. I'll keep that in mind. All right. Thank you, Woody. Hector, what do you have for us?
Okay. So I'm glad that Woody touched on Fallout because I had one too many. So I
Teamwork.
So I don't have we've exhausted that. Yeah. Yeah. When your powers combine. So I watched a show called Moving, which is on Hulu, and that was a Korean drama superhero show. There are 3 high school students that have superpowers, all different abilities, and there's this organization that is trying to stop them, but there's no really explanation as to why. There's just one guy that's in charge there that wants to pretty much get control of them. And you assume that it's in order to get that power and wield it for himself, but we don't really know much about it. And I've only gotten 2 episodes in. But it's interesting. It kind of reminds me of Heroes. So
okay.
It's kind of like retreading some of that a little bit. It's like familiar territory, but not all the way. I'm interested to see where it goes from there, but it could kind of go either way.
If Richard Pryor shows up.
Wow, this looks right up my alley.
Yeah, I think you might like it. So I'm going to keep going with that one. I'm watching on the same superhero-y area. There's a show called Extraordinary, and I think that is also, it's either on Hulu. Yeah, I think that's also on Hulu. And that's a UK show about 2 flatmates that are, well, basically the whole world, everybody has a superhuman ability. Not like a grandiose ability, but just enough to make it so that the world isn't completely, in rubbles. They make it manageable, but everyone's got a little tiny superpower, except for this one girl, and she's the central character. She's in her mid to late 20s. She lives in an apartment with her roommate, and everyone has superhero powers, and she can't seem to find work because she doesn't have any special skills. And it's really funny. Just the whole thing is crude, lewd humor, but it's really funny. I'm really digging it so far. Kind of reminds me of Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, kind of like that kind of humor.
Rachel Bloom.
Yeah, very, very Rachel Bloomy. Yeah, but in UK.
Rachel Bloom.
Yeah, there you go.
That wasn't good.
On the level of comedies too, I just started watching. I made my wife watch because she was watching it. I made her restart it. Animal Control.
Oh.
Which I got mixed feelings on because it's really funny. But I can't stand Joel McHale. Like, I've never been on board with Joel McHale. He just looks like a smug son of a bitch. I just never.
Not even Community? Especially not Community.
But that's the thing is like I like everything about those shows except for him. Like his
the smug ass in the middle.
He's just, I don't know what, something about him just.
It's understandable.
It's too proud of himself.
I can see that.
The scripts are funny. The story is funny. Same thing with Animal Control. It's just a really funny show. Maybe I'll get over my Joel McHale hate, but
Yeah, I got about 3 episodes in and I bailed on it. I couldn't.
Yeah.
What was the problem, Wood?
Overall show. I actually really like Joel McHale and his smug ass self.
Yeah.
I'm a huge Community guy.
Yeah.
And I liked the other show that he had, The Great Outdoors. Do you know that one?
Mm-mm.
So that was right after Community. It was it had Stephen Fry in it and Christopher Mintz-Plasse. And they worked at a outdoor magazine, and then this is the one after that, I think.
Oh, okay.
But that's why I'm saying I normally like Joel McHale and stuff,
Yeah.
and I just couldn't put myself through it.
Just wasn't hitting the right spots.
I'm going to see Jerry D, who's I've not watched the show either, but I do know he's in it, and I don't know if he was in like every season or if he's a Canadian comedian. I guess I just looked it up on IMDb. He plays a character called Templeton Dudge. So it might be one of the newest seasons. I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to see him stand up on Saturday night if anybody cares.
Nice.
I mean, I know about him, but okay, so it's not a big sample size, but I've seen him on a few commercials here. And let's just say that I would not go see his stand-up.
No, if you watch his Just for Laugh stuff, I've seen him before, actually.
I hope he is funnier in his stand-up because the commercials are wow.
Commercials aren't great. Yeah. He actually hosts our version of The Family Feud as well, which I've never watched.
Oh, yeah, that's true, yes.
I have seen him stand up before, and he can be very funny. And he was on, I think, the first season of Last Comic Standing.
Okay.
And
The
some of the
American
stuff
one?
on that was, the American one. And he did really, I think he did well. But he can be funny. He's a former teacher, right? So a lot of it's teacher jokes. And I'm going with
really? Okay, I didn't know that.
a group of teachers. So that'll help, I'm sure.
Teacher humor.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Playing to the crowd.
Okay, sorry, Hector, go ahead.
Yeah, so Animal Control, it's a hit or miss. It's just something to just need to have after a day of just my brain is fried. I need to have something.
Something on in the background.
Yeah, it's background. It really is background.
While you're doing your taxes, paying your bills.
Oh, God, we owed this year.
Call back.
And then my last show, and then I'll give you my stinker, it's just not for me, but it was well done. I thought Sophia, my daughter, would really like it because it's about like multiverses and it's a teen comedy. And it's called Davy and Jonesy's Locker. And it's got the vein of like a Nickelodeon type kids show.
Yeah.
But she wasn't into it, and then I kind of stopped getting into it too. But if you have kids that are the right age, I think most of them would enjoy it.
What's it about?
So it's about two girls that are best friends they're like the loser kids that like they're so best friends, and everyone just associates them with, and they have no other friends. They're just antisocial. Even the principal wants them to be apart. But they've discovered that their locker is a portal that leads to a multiverse. And so they're able to shapeshift time and do things, and all sorts of hijinks ensue. But it's a kid's show. It's fun.
Does not sound like it.
My daughter was not like super into it. That's another background show for her.
After a hard day at school.
Not high praise, but at the
While
same
she
time,
does her taxes.
yeah, while she does her taxes. She's really good with H&R Block.
That's why you owed.
Anyway, it is what it is. My stinker is a show on Apple TV called Palm Royale.
Oh, really?
Watched,
yes.
3 episodes of it, and I should have only watched half of one. But I let things simmer and see if they get better, and this just got worse, and it's just really boring. It's Kristen Wiig, and she just wants to be a socialite. She wants to be like, she's faking her way into an exclusive club in Florida. I can't remember where in Florida they are, but it's
Is it Palm Royale?
well, that's the name of the club. But
I know it's a joke. I was just going, come on, man.
I was going to make the
I'm out of
joke.
it
Is this not the plot of
I
Barb
can't.
and Star Go to Vista
Yep,
Del
go to
Mar?
That's
That smells
that's where exactly where my head was at, Nick. I just couldn't. I was too busy thinking. Anyway, I'm out of it today. I apologize. But yeah, it's a drama, and it really wants to have like a comedy element to it, but everything just falls flat. And Kristen Wiig, who I usually love, I think she's trying to go for her Emmy, and it's just none of it's everything's just falling flat. So it's a 0 for me.
All right. Thank you, Hector. And Mike, you mentioned The Gentleman. It's on my list. I mean, it's not on my list for tonight, but it's on my to-watch list. Apparently, it's good.
Mine too.
Apparently, it's good. So,
Yeah.
has any of you guys watched it?
No, there's one thing. I've seen the commercials for it, and something about it kept me away. I can't remember what it was.
Next episode, I'm sure I'll talk about it.
Okay.
I got to give us praise the fact that there wasn't a lot of crossovers here,
Right,
besides
I know.
Fallout. And
That's true. Fallout, Shogun, Reacher, and
Shogun. And
Duke's Hazard.
yeah, I think that's it.
And I have a shout out.
Yes, please.
For this has been making waves on social media. The show Bluey is apparently blowing up for kids and for adults now because it is just a tearjerker of a show, apparently.
It's awful and awesome at the same time. It's an amazing show.
There are two particular episodes that I put on because of all the hype. One was an episode called Sleepy Time, which you can YouTube later or whatever. It's on Disney Channel later. And then this newest one that's making waves is called The Sign. And apparently it just every grown man is weeping at
like X-Men
cartoons. Yeah,
it is.
Disney just
what
knows
is
how to
Bluey
touch our
on? I don't
heartstrings.
even.
Disney.
I don't have.
Bluey's on
Disney?
Bluey's on Disney Plus.
Okay.
It's a great show. It's made down in Australia, but it's for kids, but it's not. It's for adults, but it's for kids.
Because it's about a family of pups. I think its focus is more on the father, who is just like, you usually just kind of portray the father as the guy who's working. This one is the one who's always playing with the kids. And
I don't think they ever show
gets
anybody
old.
working.
All right. I'm gonna go. I'm watching it after this. After we're done, I'm gonna go watch it,
It's good.
and I'll text you a picture of myself crying.
No.
Watch the first couple episodes and then put on Sleepy Time was the one that made the entire family cry, and then this new one, The Sign, which just came out.
It tackles like real life situations.
So there's an episode where a nurse works in a hospital at the start of COVID. Is that what you're saying?
I think there might be.
Okay.
They got a
I'm
lot.
there.
It's like 45 episodes per season,
There's a lot of episodes.
like old fashioned cartoons.
I think there's like almost 200 episodes already,
Yeah.
and it's only been on for like
Week.
maybe 5 years. Yeah, it's been
Yeah.
a week. It's a crazy week.
No,
for
it's a
that.
great show, but yeah, some are going to kick it right in the gurneys, and but it's also funny too. It's good jokes. It's 8 minutes per show, I think.
Yeah, it's a kid's show,
Except The Sign is 24
something like that.
because it's super duper.
Not long enough to do your taxes then?
If you want
Well,
to cry
easy
about it,
pilot,
yeah, sure. If they're that bad.
Do people know this joke?
I think so.
I think we
Okay.
did it. Did we
Yeah,
do
yeah,
it?
last episode, right?
Last episode, yeah.
Fair enough.
About Hector's taxes, yeah.
No, yeah, actually, last episode was paying the bills, but you mentioned doing the taxes in like another conversation.
It was during Name That Tune.
Yeah,
I did my taxes.
yeah, and they got
Yeah.
mixed up together, but yeah.
We
So
do
yeah,
that.
Last week on.
exactly.
Previously
on EETF.
on Taxman.
All right. So that's it, Hector?
Yeah, yeah.
All right, thank you. So my turn.
Please.
You guys are still good?
Yeah. This is what we're here for. Patrick's takes.
Well, get ready to be disappointed.
Oh, Jesus.
No hot take tonight. But okay, so and no overlap as well,
Wow.
which is a bit surprising in one case, but okay, anyway. Okay, my first rec would be something from Northern Ireland called Blue Lights. In the US, it's on BritBox, and get this, and that makes me want to, throw my computer out the window.
There
It
we
is
go.
not legally available in Canada. And that blows my mind because it is awesome.
I watched the first episode.
Okay, so tactical acquisition.
Yeah, I guess so. I thought
It's
I
Northern Ireland.
but
Unless you cross the border and you're, free time to watch TV.
yeah, I saw the first episode. I haven't gone back to it, but I did like it. But it's pretty intense.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Violent?
somewhat, but it's not like Gangs of London violent.
But more intense, like theme wise?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
And like, the stress of the job. But
Yeah.
there are funny touches as well. And one of the guys from Game of Thrones is in it as well. It's the, what's his name? Isn't it like a Beric something? The guy with the flaming sword? The eye patch and this flaming sword?
Okay. Yeah.
I forgot his real name, but yeah, he is great in this.
That's all you need to say is the guy with the flaming sword. We all know.
There you go.
Johnny Flaming Sword.
It's Sean Brooke, right? Or Sion? I don't know how to say her first name.
Yeah, that's the actress.
Yeah. Okay. So she's in a show called Trying, which is on Apple TV, and she plays the sister of the main character, and she's very good in that. She's not like one of the main characters. She's not in all the time, but she's a really good actress, and this is pretty intense. That the first episode, like I said, I was kind of like, ooh, I'm not sure I want to go with this. Not that it wasn't good, just I found it intense. So
It's amazing. So it follows rookie police officers working in Belfast, a city in which being a frontline response cop comes with unique pressures and dangers. And one of the characters, I forgot her name, but she is a dead ringer for Britta in the Community.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, Gillian Jacobs.
Jacobs,
Yeah.
yes. And some people online started calling her Belfast Britta.
Well, that's
because
hilarious.
she looked like her so much.
What's the name of this again?
Blue Lights, and it's on BritBox. It's amazing. Personally, it's fantastic. And
When's
on
it supposed to be set in? Current day?
yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
modern.
And on Metacritic, it's at 83%, which is very good. And the second season came out in the UK today, I think.
That was only 6 episodes.
Yeah, it's great. Okay, what else? What else? My next rec is, I think I mentioned it on the previous episode, is The Gold with Hugh Bonneville, old British guy who almost always plays cops, and River Cartwright from Slow Horses, Jack Loudon. It's a limited series, 73% on Metacritic. On November 86, 1983, 6 armed men break into the Brinks-Mat security depot, stumbling across gold bullion worth £26 million. So apparently it is from a true story, and it's really good. It really feels like something. It takes you back into those years.
Very nostalgic.
Yes, well, not
Kind of.
necessarily, but you really feel like you're in 1983. You know,
You're immersed.
for like
Gotcha.
the
Immersed. There's that word.
so.
And listen, if anybody missed it, the River Cartwright is our Slow Horses reference for the
I was just
episode.
going to say,
Gotcha.
if you've got your bingo card out, play your Slow Horses box.
Which channel was that on?
Yeah, I couldn't find.
It's for rent on Prime in the
Yeah.
States.
Yes, same in Canada. Yeah, Apple TV and Google Play in Canada. Okay, so yeah, check it out. It's great. What else? I have something called, you probably heard of this one. It's on Prime in Canada, and the US it is on AMC Plus. It's Monsieur Spade with Clive Owen. I don't know if you've heard of
Did
that
you say
one.
Monsieur?
Monsieur in French,
Gotcha.
because the famous detective Sam Spade is now 60 years old and living in southern France as an expat
Oh,
in 1963. So the setting is amazing,
interesting.
and Clive Owen, does his thing. And there is a lot of similar themes for the genre, like noir and, the femme fatale and all that. The small village is amazing. It's only 6. How many episodes is it?
It says 6 on Wikipedia.
Okay, so there you go. Thank you. I gotta say, unfortunately, it doesn't stick the landing. I'm not gonna say anything more, but still, I enjoyed the ride.
Does Clive Owen play American? Because the character,
Yes.
well, at least in the movie, he was American.
Yeah, and I remember that some people said, his accent is not quite there, but personally, I didn't mind, let's say.
Where is it set again?
It's southern France in 1963. And he's been living there for a while, so sometimes they switch to French. And and southern France, looks awesome. So
It's funny. It's a British guy doing American in southern France.
yes.
It's a lot of math.
I like the fact that they're not hiding his age.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
The reviews on IMDb, every other one's like, great series, crappy ending.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
Rushed
yeah, yeah.
ending.
was that written by Patrick?
Yeah.
There it is. Yes, it's right there.
Yeah, I wrote that. Yes.
P. Dupree.
Yes.
How did I miss that?
Mr. E.ETF. No, but it's absolutely true. The landing is it's bad, but I enjoyed the series along the way,
That's good
just
enough.
skip the last episode and just be in suspense. Okay.
pretty much. Okay, so what else? The other one, it's a few years old. I don't remember if I mentioned it before. It's called Taboo, from Stephen Knight, who created Peaky Blinders.
That sounds familiar.
It stars Tom Hardy. Canada, it's Apple, and the US, you can stream it on Peacock, among others. So let's see the synopsis, just to give you an idea. That series, it's only one season, and it's all about the vibes and the mood. So if you want to see Tom Hardy with a weird haircut, walking around in a top hat and growling at people. It's awesome.
Oh, so it's every Tom Hardy movie. Okay.
Sounds like my kind of show.
Yeah.
Did you see it, Nick?
I saw parts of it because I forgot what channel was on here, but I like it. It's Tom Hardy's one of those people. I'll watch anything he does because the man braids his A game. Like, you can't understand a word he says half the time because he mumbles and he does weird accents, but God bless him because he's so talented.
It's got also this series, it's got Stephen Graham, you have Jonathan Pryce, you have Jesse Buckley.
Is it Tom Hollander in it too?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Okay, so adventurer James Delaney returns to London from Africa in 1814, along with 14 stolen diamonds to seek vengeance after the death of his father. It was created by Stephen Knight, I think his name is.
I think it was Stephen Knight.
It also was co-written by his dad.
Exactly, that's what I was going to say. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, co-written by Tom Hardy's dad. Yes.
That's weird.
You blew my mind for a second because you referenced a history of violence before.
Yes.
Didn't Stephen Knight write Eastern Promises, which is a Coenberg movie?
I think he
Oh my
did.
God.
Yes.
Come full circle, everybody.
Well
It's
done.
full circle.
Did it.
Well done.
Oh, I love
Yeah.
Coenberg. But
Thank
yeah,
you.
like, oh, that's a good show. I'm glad you mentioned that because that was like, what, 2016, 2017?
It says 17 here, but
Only one season.
it may not be your thing, but I loved it, personally. Okay, so what else? I think my last one would be, you might have seen it, Masters of the Air.
Of the Air.
Yeah.
Is that the Apple TV one?
Apple
Yeah,
TV.
Apple TV, yep. About
All right, I'm
the
interested to hear what, because I've heard things.
American bombing squad or something, or,
What?
not regiment, but
Band of Brothers in the Air.
Oh.
yeah, but it's
Okay.
not as good.
Is
That's
that
what
the
I've
one with
heard.
Austin Butler?
Yes.
Yeah.
And,
I remember it now.
what's his name?
I Googled it for you. Callum Turner.
Callum Turner. Yes, thank you.
Yes, you rock, Hector.
So yeah, when it comes to the big three for World War II, you have Band of Brothers, you have The Pacific, which was awesome, and this tries to be number 3, but it doesn't get there quite. It's not bad, but it's uneven, and it's definitely not bad.
Sounds like a lot of turbulence.
It's good. It's good, but it's not great. Let's say. Didn't Hate wasn't great. Let's say.
Callum Turner was the main character in the first season of The Capture.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah.
What's the capture?
That's brilliant. Both seasons of that are great.
Some British show that only Mike saw.
Yeah. No. Yeah. You'll find it.
Last one for real.
Okay.
This one is on Prime. It is A Gentleman in Moscow. It's going on right now. It stars Ewan McGregor.
Yeah.
It's episode 4.
This looks awesome.
It's really good. And it's from a book written by, of course, I forgot who.
He plays a Russian poet, right?
Yes. And after the First World War, he is in like house arrest in a hotel. And he meets different people there. And I really like it so far. And it's on...
The drama mystery?
it's
action?
more comedy. Comedy with some drama, I'd say.
Oh, okay. So a
Yeah.
dramedy.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Sitcom, I smell. Yeah.
But he's not allowed to leave, otherwise he's killed.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
So,
interesting.
okay, streaming Prime and Paramount in the US as well. Okay, so yeah, check it out. It's worth it.
Do you have a stinker?
My stinker is True Detective Season 4. I
Oh.
bailed after 2 episodes because fuck this.
My parents said the same thing to me because they love Jodie Foster and they even have their limits.
What
Yeah.
How did they go from like an excellent first season and just every season after that, it's just huge drop off.
Well, I mean, Season 2 was worse than the Snuff movie. Season 3 was okay. Season 4 was back to shit. So, in theory, Season 5 should be okay.
The Brett Saberhagen of TV shows.
Yeah, I really wanted to like it, honestly. I really tried, but nope, not this time. And honorable mention, actually, I do have one. Nick, you've probably heard of this one. It's from Steven Soderbergh. It's called Command Z.
I've heard of it. Is it good?
I liked it. It's 8 episodes. I think the total of the 8 episodes is barely 90 minutes.
Okay.
As far as I know, you can only watch it on Soderbergh's website, which is extension765.com. I'm not joking. This is not a...
No, that's definitely true.
It's on the dark web, everybody.
yeah, that's not a hacking attempt or phishing attempt. And it's zero budget. It's modest, but it's still like the old Roadhouse. It's got a certain charm. It's worth it. The end kind of falls flat, but still worth a look, I'd say.
Did I tell you, Patrick, recently in the last 2 or 3 months, my friend Peter, who lives in the Northeast, he actually met Steven Soderbergh after a film screening and a Q&A.
Oh.
He did a screening of, I don't know if it was Out of Sight or Traffic or whatever movie from the 90s or 2000s that he did. He went to a Q&A at this theater in Boston, and he actually ran into him on purpose to try to get a selfie with him. And he was very generous and said yes. And that is something that I know. And I have, there's proof that he did meet Steven Soderbergh. So an Oscar winner, no less.
Yeah, true.
But he's always an interesting director. I always will give him a chance.
He is not batting 1,000. No one is, but
yeah,
he really tries new things. And that's worth mentioning, definitely.
Yeah, he's one of those directors, it may be mediocre or mid, but at least it's always kind of interesting. But he's tried to either story-wise or technology-wise. I'll always give him a chance, even if I'm he's not a top 10 director for me.
And I know that the way I phrased it didn't sound like a good endorsement.
No, it didn't.
But, I know I saw your face, Kyle.
Yeah. I like the show, but...
No, but I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's got a, really good career.
He makes quality stuff, even if you don't love it.
Yes, and he is not afraid to try new things. That's more what I meant to say. Because maybe too many directors stay on the safe path,
He kind of does indie movies and mainstream movies.
Yes.
And I always find it really interesting when directors do it, where it's he has this indie mentality, but he could easily make a studio movie if he really wanted to, and he does.
Mm-hmm.
So when he wants to make money, that's when he goes to the studios.
It's like, one for me, one for you, like many actors do.
Yeah.
So there you go. All right. So yeah, that's my list. Is there any upcoming series that you guys are looking forward to?
What is that show with Kate Winslet that's going to be on Max?
The Regime?
Yeah, that looks really good.
Yes, it does. And the reviews are good, but I don't know. Maybe it's the current, news climate that made me that way. But if I want to see stuff about an asshole dictator in Eastern Europe, I'll just turn the TV on, So that's why I'm staying away from The Regime, even though it's probably very good.
Which regime is it about?
It's a fictitious country in Eastern Europe.
Oh, okay.
And it's got, Kate Winslet and Andrea Riseborough. And a couple of others. Isn't it Stephen Frears who directed at least the first episode?
I believe so. That sounds right.
So, yeah. Yeah, it's probably good, but right now I'm not in the right headspace to enjoy it.
One more that I'm going to stop talking is The Tourist season 2 is on Netflix, because that first season of that show, it was on Max. It's so good. It's with Jamie Dornan. It's the one where he has amnesia, and he's an Irishman. He vacations in Australia, has amnesia, and basically trying to figure out who he is and what his life is. That show's amazing, and the second season's out on Netflix. But I'm trying to get in the right headspace to watch it.
And actually, it was on my long list, and it didn't make the cut. Because I was going to mention it because I saw it the second season.
Oh, is it good, season 2?
I mean, the reviews are good, and the score is the same as season 1, and season 1 was great, but don't take my word for it, I hated it.
Oh, wow.
Because...
I need amnesia for when we do our next TV episode.
Well, yeah.
And I'm did Patrick watch The Tourist season 2?
Oh, yeah, I'm going to do a Men in Black. Look at this. Okay, so it's not a spoiler because you realize it right away, but they go back to Ireland for season 2.
Mhm.
So yeah, because the first season was in Australia. Yeah, I mean, watch it and get back to me because I don't know. Maybe I wasn't in the right mood for it. I don't know.
That's why I'm waiting on it, because I felt like that show, I watched it at a time where I was like, oh yeah, I could totally binge that. But now I'm like, oh, I want to make sure, because I got to give it its proper due.
I don't know. Yeah, I gotta say, don't take my word for it. So yeah, Kyle, is there anything that you're looking forward to TV wise?
Saturday Night Live, that's coming up to the end of their 49th season in May. So I watch it every week.
Is there anything planned for next season, the 50th?
That's the big question, because it's everybody thinks that Lauren's going to quit at 50. Well, most people think he's going to quit at 50, and some people think he's doing so well, and what's he going to do afterwards if he does? So why not keep going? Maybe, maybe not. I think they're going to put Keenan in as his replacement, Keenan Thompson.
Okay.
Which would be too bad, because he's been on the show 20 years now, and he's still gold. Every episode he's in, he doesn't make a stinker. So I don't know. We'll see. But last week was Kristen Wiig, speaking of. She was on last week, and that was great. And the week before she was week before. Last week was Ryan
Gosling. Yeah.
That was great too. Both good weeks.
Yeah, he was awesome. Dua Lipa this week.
Yeah, she's hosting a musical.
She was fantastic in Argyle. What are you talking about?
All the Barbie, anyone from Barbie could just host Saturday Night Live.
Apparently.
Right, pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. But then again, everybody was in Barbie too.
Yes.
True.
There you go. All right. So Hector, is there anything that you were looking forward to?
I don't know. I saw a preview for a show called Dark Matter with Jennifer Connelly and Joel Edgerton.
Mm-hmm.
I'm holding judgment until I see it, but it looks interesting enough.
Where'd you see that coming?
That's on Apple TV, so that's another reason why I have reservations, because yeah, they've been pulling out just prizes show after show on that network. Yeah, I know that you probably are really excited for the new Star Wars show, Patrick.
Oh yeah. Let's see. No.
One on the list.
Yeah, I couldn't.
I heard they're making The Mandalorian into the next Star Wars movie.
Yeah, because, things aren't confusing enough between the TV shows and movies now.
It's the one good thing they have right now.
Yeah.
So why not make it into a movie?
Yep.
I'm going to do this.
Yeah, Patrick would rather watch the Star Wars Holiday Special than actually engage in any of the...
It did have Boba Fett.
Sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit.
Focus on the shit.
You can drop the first part of that statement.
Lately.
Jesus.
Sometimes always shit.
Oh, yeah. No.
I forgot Daredevil.
Is Daredevil this year? Is that coming out this year?
I think it's coming out in the summer. I don't remember when, though.
Because they're doing 2 chunks, I think. 8 episodes or whatever in the first one, and then the original show was great.
Yeah. Absolutely. You will have the Punisher in it as well, right? Like the same cast and all that stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll check that out. So that's not a bad idea.
That's not Star Wars. Yeah.
Not a bad rec. Oh, no, yeah.
Yeah, that's their claim to fame. Their big review. Better than Star Wars.
Well, yeah, that's a very low bar to clear. I would need to dig and drop that bar to clear it.
Originally, it was better than NCIS Sydney, so that's the...
They crossed that out. And
Yes.
Most things are.
All right. Mike, is there something you're looking forward to?
Yeah, so the thing I'm probably will talk about next time is the Disney Plus 4-part Thank You, Good Night, the Bon Jovi story. That'll be on.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
So I'm looking forward to that.
Nice. Woody, what about you?
For me, I've been stockpiling Invincible, the next season of Invincible on Amazon Prime. Heard great things about it. I can't wait to catch up with it. And then actually, I had The Gentleman on my list, so I will probably be watching that.
All right. I think that covers it.
What about you? What are you looking forward to?
Me,
which Star Wars are you going to watch next?
Mm-hmm.
It's a Star Wars Marvel crossover.
it might be a cop-out, but as I said, Blue Lights Season 2 is out since, yesterday or today. And...
you're going to finish True Detective Season 4?
Yes. It's like I'm taking them as they come along. I have nothing to look forward to. Just like in life.
Oh, jeez.
Oh,
No, I'm joking. But no, yeah. Sorry if it's like a cop out.
No, it's good.
answer, but, yeah, exactly. I deserve it, definitely.
No.
All right, so thank you guys. Where
Thank you.
can we reach you online, Nick?
you could follow me at Rockin' Retropod on pretty much any platform, and check out my show Rockin' Retrospect. I've had I've had Patrick and Mike Drew as guests, but I open the door if any of you guys want to be on the show at some point. And also my other show, Needle Drops, which we've got like 6 episodes in the can. So yeah, check those 2 out.
All right, thank you. Kyle, what about you?
I would say on Instagram, OVERKYLART, Overkill Art.
Awesome, thank you. Hector, what about you?
At Classic Hexagon on Twitter and Instagram. And I did do Threads, but it's a slow build with that one.
Slow horse. Yeah.
That's slow horse. Me and Gary.
All right, thank you, Hector. Mike, what about you?
Same Instagram Threads, both at Pickies with Filters, PICIES with filters.
Awesome, thank you. And Woody, what about you?
We'll close out the Instagram horde here with The Wooden Chef.
Awesome. So this was a long one. Thank you guys for your patience.
Thank you.
And also thank you guys for your discipline, because like with 5 people, it could be chaos. And no, you guys went...
We're here for business.
We all watch different shit this month.
also that, yes.
Gonna make a watch-along very difficult.
Yeah.
All right, so thank you. And thank you, listeners. We will catch you on the next one. Thanks.